So I'm about to do something I've never done before, which is halfway through a video and a project, stop and just completely start a new one. The reason for that being is the last few days have been bloody freezing by Australian standards at least. And it's just no fun working in the van when it's cold. So I was halfway through electrical. Instead, I'm now going to install the diesel heater. I hope that doesn't alter the course of the future for everyone, but we'll see. G'day guys, and welcome to episode 8 of the van build. As I said, this was going to be a project for episode 9, but it has jumped the queue due to the weather outside. And what I am doing is something that, to be honest, scares the shit out of me a little bit, because it involves hooking a diesel heater up into the van. But the way some people do it with these heaters, which I'll show you in a second, is they use this auxiliary tank for diesel. And I think it's 15 litres, which, you know, isn't a bad idea. And it's the easy thing about it is it's so easy to hook up this way, and yeah, it's safe. But the problem is with hooking it up like this is you've got to have somewhere to store the tank. There's a chance it could leak. And on top of that, it only holds 15 litres, whereas my diesel fuel tank underneath the van holds 100 litres. So if I can tap my heater into it, then essentially I can just, whenever I fill up at the pump, that's filling up my heater as well. These heaters are super efficient, so they use stuff all in terms of actual diesel. All right. Wait, hello there. So I'm not sure how filming this is gonna go. I hope you don't mind sharing a bit of a tight space with me, but we are now under the van, as you can see. And before I get to show you what is in the box and all the goodies that come with it for the whopping $200, it's already 3:30 in the afternoon because I did swap projects. So my plan for this afternoon is really just to drop this tank. I couldn't find a video on how to do this on an Iveco on YouTube, which I don't know whether it's concerning, meaning that it's hard or what, but I will now put up a video so people can see, and if it goes well, copy me. If it doesn't, just learn from my mistakes and use the other tank like I probably should have. So the first thing I've got to do is undo, this is the filler that you fill your fuel from. Hopefully I've emptied enough diesel that it's not going to pour all over me. Just going to shove that to the... So I just messaged a mate and said that there's a couple more hoses on here than we thought from the diagram. I sent him a video. In true Australian style, he said, just keep pulling shit off, mate, it'll be fine. So those 3 pipes are now off. Now to tackle. So this should be the fuel line, and I think, I don't know, the reserve line or something, and some form of electrics. Ugh. There we go. So I'm at the point of lowering the tank, and just in case anyone does want to do this with an Iveco, to get the bolts off, underneath you use a 14mm socket, and above you need to hold it on with a 17mm socket. So one from above, one from below. And a lesson that I've already learned is don't underestimate the power of lube, because these bolts were really not going. They weren't budging, and I put some WD-40 on it, and now they're coming away. So hopefully I'll have this tank down shortly. It's starting to get a little dark. Just trying to turn the camera off. After I get this on off, this tank is free. Oh God, it's still heavy. So now I'm going to slowly let it down. There's still a couple of things attached on top, so you wouldn't want it to drop all the way down, or you put a lot of pressure on the lines and potentially snap something. Kind of like Jenga.
It's around 6:30. It's dark. And the problem is that this drawer that I've put underneath is a bit high, which means I can't lower this tank enough, and I've still got this one tube connected, which, you know, I wish this video was live because I'm sure someone could tell me an easy way to unplug it. I'm going to try a move that may be stupid, but it's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to slide it off the drawer the only way it can come, which is on top of me. And then my plan is to kind of shuffle out of underneath it so it sits on the ground, provided it has enough cable length for this. If it doesn't, send help. I really hope it doesn't tip fuel all over me. Whew. Okay, the tank is now fully resting on me, as you can probably see. It's not too bad, it's probably like, yeah, 30 kilos. The good thing is this is the one line that's in a bit of danger, but because I'm moving towards me, it's still got plenty of play. So now I'm just gonna gracefully get out of underneath it. Whew. So how do you guys spend your Friday nights? This foam bit was on the top, and then underneath it, it gave me access to some, oh, that's dripping fuel. Hold on. And underneath it gave me access to these button clips that allowed me to pull it out of the top of the tank. And now it is all completely unattached and ready to get out, just like me. So if, like me, you've had sleepless nights wondering what the top of an Iveco diesel tank looks like, there is your answer. Sleep easy, my friends. Good morning. I was so grateful to wake up to some sunshine this morning, and it really just showed me how much of a difference good weather can make on my mood. I'm feeling up for the challenge, and I just wanted to give a very quick update. Unfortunately, Dad and Judy still have the sheep. I am going to go talk to them a bit later about that. Also, you may have noticed my progress has been a little bit slow this week. I took a couple of days off the build because I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with kind of everything that I had ahead of me. I'm glad I did that because I'm feeling fresh and I'm excited to get back into it. So the next step is to install this fuel line into the tank. To do that, I need to measure up down the side of the tank to get it the right height, because you don't want it going right to the bottom, or else you can potentially drain your fuel tank with your heater. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install it here so it's nice and high on the tank. It's in a good position, and it's also not gonna be affected when I put it back up. It's not gonna be hitting anything. So the tank is 23 centimeters deep, and I'm gonna cut this down to 19 centimeters just to be safe. I'm also putting a slight bend in the metal because you don't want it picking up any of the dirt or crap from the bottom of your tank. So you really want to minimize as much as possible the chance of any plastic going into the tank when you drill into it. So I'm gonna have this vacuum cleaner running whilst I drill in. Okay, here goes. It actually looks like the drill caught most of it, which is nice. So now I'm just going to use some marine grade Sikaflex adhesive to stick it down. That ain't going nowhere. I have to say, I am so glad to have that part behind me. It turned out to be way less scary than I thought it was. And really, I think the main hassle is actually going to be getting the tank back up because it's not empty. I wanted to give you a quick look at what comes in the box. I still can't believe you kind of get all this for the price. But so here's the main heating unit. This is the exhaust ducting, the air ducts. This is the fuel pump that runs the fuel to the heater, silencer for the exhaust. And what's really cool is it comes with an LCD screen that you put within the van so you can control the heater, and a remote control button. So you can lie in bed if your heater's up the other end, which it's going to be for me, and turn it on, off, or increase or decrease the heat. So in terms of how I'm going to actually mount this heater and where I'm mounting it, I'm doing it a bit differently in that I'm mounting it outside underneath the van, and I'm doing that for multiple reasons, which I'll touch on later. So even with the heater being mounted underneath the van, I still obviously need to put the vent ducting through the van floor so it comes into the van. I've got to cut a 90mm hole and run the duct through there. I've chosen this location under the driver's seat. I've needed to take the driver's seat out for it. And it's a little tight, but this is where it's going, and then the ducting is going to run through here. I'm just finishing up getting these mounting holes ready for the bracket that I've made for the heater to sit on. These are the new holes, and this is a bit of a look at what I'll be mounting it on. Okay, so this is taking way more brain power than I thought it would to install this heater. And one of the reasons is because I'm really trying to avoid the heater being noisy. One of the biggest complaints about this is that the ticking noise that comes from the fuel pump. And the reason that that ticking noise happens is it's a compression pump. And when it hits, if you've bolted that or attached that straight onto the van wall or the chassis, it's going to make that sound. It's going to reverberate through the van. Now, I did have a look online to see ways around this, and actually one of the guys that watches quite a few of these videos, Mel, I saw his video about how to silence these pumps, so I'll link that up here, check it out, and it gave me the idea of doing it this way. And actually my dad's done a similar thing, which also gave me the idea. So this is a muffler exhaust mount. It's thick rubber, and then this mount is the mount that comes with the pump, and this pump has to be at a 15 to 35 degree angle, I think, for it to work best. So this is the way I'm going to mount it, and I've attached it to this via a zip tie to keep it there just in case the screws come loose, and then a couple of screws, and they're what's going to keep the angle. And I think between this rubber and this rubber, it'll really take away a lot of that ticking noise. I guess we'll see. I have to say I'm going to be happy when this job is done, and I'm just enjoying the warmth of my van. I have put all the external components together as much as I can before getting under the van. I'm going to give you a very quick rundown of what flows into what, so it gives you a bit of better understanding of how it all works. As you can see, it starts at the diesel tank, and then that will flow out, and then it'll attach to my diesel filter there. Then it flows on to the diesel pump, and this is the device that pumps it to your heater. Then there'll be more hose coming, and that will go into the base of the heater. So this heater is currently upside down. It will be flipped the right way up, and this will be bolted into the chassis. I'm also going to put a little protective cover on it to protect it from the elements because it's outside.
What if you take the other board off it? Oh, you can't. Just sit on the...
Yeah, it could. I think we might be alright.
Come round the other side.
Yeah,
Nice. That's all you, Jude.
that worked well, Max. Saves a lot of hard labour.
Judy, it was all you. Alright, we're probably almost up to your end.
Yeah, it's getting close. Just needs to go a little your way and from this end.
Are you talking my way, like to the back or to the side? Everything looking alright up your end? Yeah, I don't know if that's going to touch.
Yeah.
Just like by the look of it,
Yeah.
5 centimetres.
Yep.
Oh,
sure.
thank you, Judy.
Oh, it's sort of, it's going to be a bit tricky to, but where are you? You'll have to come out though.
Okay, thanks. Smoko. Smoko, everyone. Oh, I feel like a coal miner or something. But whilst Dad has been giving me a hand, which I'm very grateful to help get the tank back up, look what Judy's done.
Hey, Jude.
Just made a nice little smoko break meal, and we're almost there. I have to say a huge thank you to Dad and the ghost, Judy. They just helped me for probably 2.5 hours. Do you reckon, Dad?
Yeah, somewhere right like that.
Big lesson learned, don't try and put up the tank when you've got any more than like 5 litres in it. But also, I don't think that was a one-person job either way. That was really tricky getting that up. We used 2 jacks, as you probably saw, and it was a nightmare. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Max.
Have a good night. I am disgusting. Have a good shower.
Thanks.
Morning, it is an absolute beauty morning this morning, and I am at it nice and early. Because social restrictions here in Victoria have eased a little bit, Mum is actually coming to visit, which I'm really excited about, but I want to get this heater up and running before she gets here. So I have gotten all of the mounting up underneath, and I'm now just onto the electrical section of it. It's pretty straightforward. There's 3 plugs. There's a plug that goes into the fuel pump, a plug that goes into the LCD monitor, and then I also just need to hook the positive up to the positive of my battery and ground the negative. The positive for now, I'm just going to put on the van battery. It's going to run off my batteries in the back eventually, but I don't have them hooked up yet. So for now, I'll put it on the van battery and just make sure I don't run it too long without driving the vehicle. Let's get at it.
Is that you, Mum?
Folks, we have a visitor. A lot of you may remember her. She's struggling to find the door. Hello? There's 2 doors in that wall.
I
Hey,
can't hug you.
Well, can't we?
No.
So Jane, Mum, as many of you will remember, came and visited me in Peru, and she has just arrived at perfect timing to see how the heater goes. I am about a minute off hooking it up, so I'm going to get under there, finish it off, and then we'll be able to enjoy conversation in a warm van. Yay. Hopefully. Will you do the honours? And so just press the power button, I think. Right now, I think we wait.
I can hear something.
What should be happening now? So I can hear the fan in this unit starting to kind of slowly kick in. And then what we should hopefully hear in a second is the fuel pump over there start ticking, but not too loud, hopefully. So it gets pretty loud at the start because that's the, like when it gets it up to heat, and then it goes down into kind of idle mode. Oh, yeah. And then we'll shut up all the van doors and see what it sounds like inside.
Cool.
Oh, hear that? Yep, so that's the pump. I'll tell you what, that pump is so quiet compared to the ones I saw in other people's videos. And because it's just starting, you can kind of see a few little air bubbles just go through the line. But that shows diesel is getting pumped from the tank. So that's the diesel running up into the heating unit, so the heater should start to be kicking in with heat soon. Really important as well to keep everything away from this exhaust pipe because it actually gets really hot. So make sure your wires aren't touching.
It's a long way up.
It's extra high at the moment.
Wow.
This is your first time in the van, isn't it?
It's my first time in the van. Look at that soundproofing.
Is it bigger or smaller than you thought?
It's bigger from the outside.
Yeah.
It's really tall. But it's more compact inside than I expected, so I can't wait to see it all kitted out.
Way bigger than the last van though, hey?
Oh! Yeah, the length is just amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Max, Max ready to be a mother.
Now, the pump is definitely ticking outside. Let's be quiet for a sec and hear if we can hear it. What's the verdict?
It's pretty quiet.
Got some goodies.
Yep, I bring vegan food.
Thanks, Mum.
And I'll come back and help with the painting.
Sounds amazing, Mum. Thanks so much for the food. Thanks so much for visiting. Say hi to Grandma for me.
Enjoy your nice warm van.
I will.
See you, Maxie.
Bye. How good is family and social interaction, for that matter? Let's never forget that again. So I am so stoked that this is done. And you know, that was a day and a half of work that was a pain in the ass. And to be honest, I hope to never have to do it again. But at the same time, that is going to make the van so much more comfortable. The heater is now running at its low temp. You can hear what it sounds like from outside. So it's definitely audible from outside and may get some funny looks from people walking by. And this is what it sounds like inside at the same temp. And you've got to remember with that as well, I still haven't put my final layer of flooring. I've got a lot of cabinetry and things to go over the top. So I don't imagine I'm going to be able to hear the pump at all from inside, which is epic. And just like that, all my cold weather woes are gone. I am really looking forward to smashing this build out in comfort and warmth now. I am definitely glad I went with the external mounting. It is so quiet inside, even though it was a huge pain in the ass to do. All up, it took me about a day and a half, but a lot of that time was just spent figuring things out. I reckon I could probably do it in probably half a day or 3/4 of a day now. It is so much harder to do it this way than to just store it in the little container, but I think worth it in the long run. Lessons I learned: do it with an empty tank, have someone there to help you put it up, and yeah, maybe do a little bit of research before you start the install process. I want to say a huge thank you to Mum, Dad and Judy, all for helping me out. I couldn't have got that tank up without Dad's help last night. And also, I just want to touch on the fact that I feel like this vlog was a little bit on the dry side compared to my normal ones. And, you know, I hope that that wasn't too much the case. Sometimes filming can be really tough whilst you're also putting a lot of mental energy into figuring out how to do the build. So hopefully it comes out okay. I would like to hear from you guys. Are you enjoying the, you know, kind of how-to style of these videos? Or would you prefer them to be more just, you know, this is what I got up to this week and include some of that in it with a little bit less of the detail? I'd be really interested to hear your feedback. And otherwise, I'm excited to get electrical done because then I'm putting the walls up, the roof on, and it's going to start to actually look like a tiny house. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you hopefully within a few days, if not next week. Bye, guys. Could get used to this.
Turn up the heat. I'm gonna make my move. Gonna make my move. Get out the way, I'm coming through. Gonna do my thing, do what I do. I'm making waves, I'm blazing trails, I'm coming through. I'm burning up, turn on the light. I'm gonna glow and let it shine. I'm gonna go and light it up right. Turn up the heat.